My goodness, the link between PlayStation and YouTube and then back to Twitter takes forever these days. But anywho, we shall carry on regardless. Myself and my co-commentator, Mr. Barry Baldwin, who we'll come to very shortly. It's round 6, it's season 10, it's another Thursday night in JACKOCAR here in the Cup Series, and we are live from Baku in Azerbaijan. Of course, last season we come here and we witnessed the 0.003 gap between Casper and Jake. Will it produce something similar this time around? We shall find out in about an hour and 24 minutes. Finally, my tweet has been posted, so we can actually share that to the world and the group chats. And Barry Baldwin, what is your take early doors as we look forward to qualifying this evening?
Hello, good evening. Yeah, I'm just dusting the cobwebs off. It's been a while since I've been back in the com box. Yeah, I think my last time in the com box was actually around here last season, in the box with Jess, and it was a cracking race, so hopefully same again today. Yeah, we look like we got a dry qualifying session ahead of us, so we shouldn't have any intermediates on the cards. And yeah, Casper last time race winner here. Ben Shaw took pole position, so we'll see if anyone can upset them this time round.
Yeah, good knowledge, because I didn't know that Ben was on pole. Thank you very much. But speaking of Casper, it must be said he has not had the ideal season so far. Let me talk you through his results. He currently sits on points alone down in P9. He started the season really well in Australia, P2. Then he didn't race in Saudi. He got disqualified in China. Won the race on track, by the way. But I think he pitted one lap too soon. Then a DNF at the Paul Ricard Superspeedway. And again, he won last week in Silverstone. Only to be disqualified by 30 seconds for some sort of infringement. No, I can't remember what he did. So it's not going all that well, but he certainly has some pace. The ERT man. And speaking of ERT, they are back up to a full contingency this week, including yourself in the box, Bazza. But that means Arnaud is back, Khalifa is back, Corey is back, Jordan is here, obviously Tony, and I'm sure I'm missing one of them, but we'll worry about them if we get as far as mentioning them. 2 reserves in tonight. One is Waze and the other is this man. Let's go for a lap on board Baku. Here is turn 1 with Tony Kirkpatrick of ERT. He told me after Silverstone last week he really quite likes it around here and he would like to start his second race in the Cup Series. So I have fulfilled his dreams and wishes and desires all in one evening as he heads down towards turn 3. One of the prime overtaking spots, also one of those where if you get it a little bit wrong, you will find yourself in the wall. Tricky braking for turn 4, but if you get it right, you can earn yourself a tenth or two here or there. And then into 5, followed by the 90-degree right-hander of 6 as you head towards downtown Baku. We're coming up to the corner where Matt Shepherd crashed in the Kia Series last season. He took all the pressure off of me 2 seasons ago, where I then went on to win and booked myself a place in the Championship 5 for what would have been season 6. Tony Kirkpatrick close to the castle walls, but he now finds himself on what we'll call sort of a half a back straight. This is where Yori and Jess had their collision way back in the season 1 Cup Series. Another left-hander here for Tony as he nails that one as well. It's a really good lap, but he is first out. Will track evolution play a part later on as we look forward to the Fast 5, which consists this week of Leroy, Arnaud, Ben Harrett, Kieran and Jake O'Sullivan sweeping left and right. Does Tony from ERT, can he set a lap time that we've not seen the likes of before? I can't remember what Ben Shaw's time was last season, but I'm sure it is fast. But this looks very good. He's nailed every single corner, Bazza. To the line he comes. It's a 1:38.3. And don't be surprised if that's the pole position time. It's Yuri Hazelaga next.
That was a cracking time. Yeah, I don't know if that's going to be any good. I can't remember Ben Shaw's pole time from last season, but it was a different game, so we'll go across that. Yuri was a bit squiggly going out of the exit of turn 1 there. That'll cost him a bit of time, and a bit twitchy in turn 2 as well. Down the little straight towards turn 3, you can get some overtakes done here, down into the inside. get close to the wall on exit, nicely done. And then these next couple of corners I find really very tricky. You can easily lose the back end, especially on this game. It's crap.
It's the game everybody is still adjusting to it, isn't it? It's still not the best, I must say, but I mean, I'm somewhat slightly competitive, and you had a good race as well last night in it was Bahrain, wasn't it?
Yeah, I quite surprised myself with that, to be honest.
Oh, Yuri.
Yuri. But yeah, it's next week I'm looking forward to.
Where are we next week?
Abu
Dhabi.
Abu Dhabi, yeah, and it's my Joker as well, which worked out well for me the last time we were there, but I think that was a couple of games ago.
It doesn't matter. A win is a win. They all count. Yuri Hazelager sideways again. But yeah, I remember on Tuesday evening I was behind you at the safety car restart thinking, Baz has got to pit again, and he never moved. He stayed there for the entire race, you bastard. But here is... Go on.
Yeah, so yeah, Yuri coming to the line. I don't think this is going to be that few seconds off. It was more like an ice rink for Yuri there, unfortunately.
Yeah, I don't think it was his fault as such. The lap from Tony was just absolutely wonderful. Bellissimo, as they say in Italy, which we are not in. We are in Azerbaijan, of course. Here is your Season 8 champion, still hanging on to that, as you can see by the gold splattered all over his livery. Still a base livery, this as well. Nobody wants to buy the liveries, so we are very limited, hence no throwback week once again. I've just had the notification come through from YouTube that we are now live. We've been live for the last handful of minutes, but Ben Shaw to the line, driver of the 29 car. Where does he go? P2. And he's not as far off Tony as I was perhaps thinking. Again, track evolution will come to these guys. But will it come to them enough? Because, like I say, I think Tony is in for a pole position. Here's Danny Quinn, not a Watford fan, we've learnt tonight. I don't know if you've been keeping up with the Kia chat, Mr. Baldwin.
I did keep up just before we came on air, yes.
That will be enough said on that.
We won't go into much.
No. We can talk about OKK though. Joker on Tuesday night in the Kia series, but it fell apart for him about halfway through the race. We are trying so desperately to get OKK another win before JACKOCAR shuts its doors forever. And into the final sector he comes.
Yeah, I bet he was kicking himself after that Bahrain race after getting P2. It was a cracking qualifying from him.
Sure was. P2 on the grid, as you say. Still yet to win a race in the Kia Series. Two-time race winner here in Cup Series. Australia Season 1, now our curtain raiser. And then the first ever throwback race he won as well, Monza Season 2. P5, though, for OKK here. Next up is the man who won this season's season opener around Australia. It is the Season 3 and 9 Cup Series champion, Khalifa El Khalifa. Gold, black, white and red on that car. It's a new livery for him. So a bit of a Bahrain flag mixed with some Cup Series gold.
Yeah, I like it. And he's missed a couple of races, hasn't he, as well? Or was it just last week?
2 races I have him down as, I believe, missing. Oh no, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's double 2. Oh. So he won his race and then was like, nah, I'm done, I'm in the playoffs. Here's Jordan Lane. Yeah. This is a livery from your era, is it not? Or is that rude?
Well, no, I'll take it. Slight on the rude side, but I'll take it. But yeah, I used to seeing Jordan in these kind of colours as well. Because I believe he's Sheffield. I can't remember if it's United. Is it Wednesday?
Yeah. Come on, Wednesday. That one. P3 for
nice
Jordan.
Time. P3.
Yeah. Tony remains at the top as he sits in the garage. Here is the league's bad boy, Waze Cuba. What do we say about Waze? Of course, he's the Season 6 Kia Series champion. And that's about all I can say that's positive.
Yeah.
His fellow Welshman, have you got anything to say?
Well, he was quite fast when he won that championship, so that's why he won it. He was on decent form that season. Yeah, and he's sticking to his green. I would say it's black, but it doesn't look black. It looks like a darker green, doesn't it?
Let's go on board with him. Yeah, I think it is a darker green. Good spot there under the shadows of the tall buildings around us. It is dark green, light green, and a little bit of white. We'll ride with Waze to the line then. I don't think he's quite close enough to pick up the distant tow from the car in front. He is the last of the drivers outside of the top 10 in qualifying to run tonight. Next up will be Corey Dalton, but Waze over the line he goes, P6. And now, welcome back Corey Dalton, who has done 3 races this season, but he's missed the last 2. Another one of the ERT boys.
Yes, because we had a bit of a gap in the qualifying slots, we should get most of the lap with him. Corey was on the front row last time out around here. He had a great scrap with Kieran, aka Catboy, towards the end of the race.
Corey, who hasn't won for 12 Cup Series races now, dating back to the middle of last season. Oh, car in the background, running wide, not getting out of the way of anyone, just running wide. Do we need to discuss Catboy? Are the viewers aware of Catboy?
I'm not fully aware. I just got a bit of the gist of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I will explain it
on stream.
Yeah, I think me and Owen attempted to start. I don't know. Me and Owen did explain it, but I'll tell you because you're listening. So, Kieran used a racial slur, and obviously PlayStation picked up on that and banned his account, his normal speed Kieran account. He didn't actually use a racial slur, by the way, but the game or the PlayStation picked up on it as if he did. So he had to revert back to an account when he was 14 years old, which is only last year. And it was the name. Corey goes P2, by the way. The name was a sub to Catboy Key. He said it was from his Fortnite days, and the name has stuck. So he is now referred to as Catboy. Casper Klein, though, his bad season continues in validation.
Mm-hmm. Yes. And on the upside, Casper, I do like your livery. It is a very nice one.
Very Alpina, isn't it? Like BMW with the red in there.
Yes, but, so he's going to be kicking himself with that invalidation.
Yeah, I wonder where he went wrong. But we will move on to the fastest man in team speed, who is running yellow and green tonight. We've just missed him through Castle, but we'll have him for the rest of the lap then. Speed Gareth, who has openly said he's going for the chase, but finds himself above the cut line in the standings, so not where he wants to be, but everybody else has been away and everybody else has been doing worse than him, and so he's actually having traditionally for him, this would be a subpar season, as he has a half a moment there. Maybe that was intentional to put himself lower down the grid. Of course, previous seasons we have known him to be a notoriously bad qualifier. I expect him to come out somewhere around his good old mate Waze there in P7 with a lap like this. The DRS is open on Gareth's car as he powers to the line. P10, worse than I thought. Worst of the bunch, actually. Next up,
he's definitely trying for that chase.
Maybe things will start to settle down now that everyone's back and everyone's finishing their holidays. Here's Sullivan Lewis.
Speed risky in his traditional pink. I kind of like this. I did mention it. I was in a chat with Jess in Kia on Tuesday. I did mention it's quite a nice looking car, that one. And P6, I think he'll be reasonably happy with that.
Yep. And it should be said as well, Sullivan is on a losing streak to Ben Harrett this week. He lost out on the Bahrain win by a handful of attempts, and then he ended up in the sort of lesser good pot for the JACKOCAR draw, which is tomorrow. Of course, JACKOCAR moves to the Bundesliga, but Ben Harrett snuck into the pot with Bayern Munich and Bayern Leverkusen, so he played the kids and he got away with it.
It's MK Bond to the line now. And we
P10.
did briefly have yellow flags, and that will probably be for Leroy, who has no front wing.
Yep. There it is, folks. No front wing. Still manages to just about get through Castle.
So we can get this slowed down into turn 15. He might be a rocket on the back straight.
Just reading the chat as well. Going back to Jordan Lane's livery, he says it's the colours that his football team wears, like the team he plays for. And Peter Knighton is coming to you live from the M1. One would assume he is headed northbound. If he's coming back from... Well, actually, he might be coming southbound if he's got the ferry back from Rotterdam. But Leroy Hazelager to the line. We've stayed on board with him for half a lap with no wing, and that's why he goes P13. We will now move to Arnold de Grief. The Belgian colours are back, Mr. Baldwin.
They are indeed. Well, 10 out of 10 for that. Considering the limited liveries we have on this game, that is a cracking livery there.
Yeah, he's done
do a
really
cracking
well.
time and get up the front. So
After...
he opens the DRS now and to the line.
It looks good.
No one's getting near Tony's time at the minute. Well, I say that. There we go.
But they are getting closer. So that leaves us with 3 then. Ben Harrott, Kieran Spears, Jake O'Sullivan. Ben Harrott, race winner this season in... Oh, that was close. In France at the Paul Ricard Super Speedway. He is the only driver to have... Yeah, only driver to have multiple wins there. I believe it's 2 in the Cup, but 100%. But he may also have 1 in Kia, but we'll have to fact check that. Oh, big moment, but he keeps the foot in. And he's going to get away with that one. Apparently, that's the first time I've seen it this evening. That was a purple sector 2 as well. So if they fix that, then Ben Harrott could be on for a very good time here. I don't know if they have. I could be sounding absolutely foolish. But we'll stay with Ben Harrott as you would expect. And where can he put that black and green machine as he heads down towards the line? Where does he go? P6, not as good as I thought it was going to be. Catboy is next. Take us through it, Mr. Baldwin.
Where is he? Right, where are we? Ah, there we go, got him. Right, down into the final sector now. Let's see if he purples sector 2. He does not. He does, according to the game. I don't know if it's still broken or not, but we'll go with it. And then through turns 17, 18, 19, not really turns, more like kinks, so it's basically flat out. To the line, opens the DRS right about now, which I think they've shortened it this year, I think. I might be wrong with that. And to the line, and he goes P5, 139.6.
Not bad at all. Here's Jake O'Sullivan, locks up, but gets the car thrown in. Lovely. No sound on the off-board cameras, so we'll go back to on-board then. Jake O'Sullivan coming up towards the line. He's just got to sweep left and right, and he's there. He's aiming for his 17th career pole position. Can he get anywhere near it? Because Tony has been the pick of the bunch ever since we started qualifying on that 138.3. Jake O'Sullivan powers towards the line. The DRS is open now under the Qatar Airways hoarding. Where does he go? Jake O'Sullivan! It's nowhere near. He's only P9. So Tony Kirkpatrick, he's on pole in his 2nd race in the Cup Series. He did say he liked it here, and that was a week ago. He's come to JACKOCAR, and he's delivered. And that is a fantastic lap for him. He steals a playoff point from this man, Jake O'Sullivan, who has been racking them up all season. Jake O'Sullivan sat on 24 playoff points. He's 14 ahead of his nearest rival, Casper Klein. And that was an enjoyable qualifying session, I'd say. Not a lot of drama, but enjoyable. Tony Kirkpatrick takes pole.
It does indeed. Cracking time, as we said from the get-go, and nobody was getting near him until Arnold put in a cracking time. So, top 2, way ahead of the rest of the field. I think Corley will be happy with P3 and hopefully do better this time round than he did last season because he fell off the pace towards the end. And yeah, Khalifa down in P8 is a bit of a shock for me, and Jake also in P9.
Yeah, we gave him the build-up to go and get his 17th pole, and he was nowhere near it. Ben Shaw qualifies fourth for the second race in a row, and Catboy, as ever, with his claws out, completes the top 5.
Yes.
So then, Baku. I've won here before, so obviously it's high up in my estimations. You had much success here, Barry?
Surprisingly, I'm not really one for qualifying, but I've always qualified well around here. I'll try and keep it short and sweet. TGP, I qualified second. Safety car came out, I took the lead. And under the safety car, I crashed.
Oh.
Yes, I was actually doing that race in my friend's house at the time, and his dog, I don't know if there's any dog owners listening, but you know when the dogs rub their ass along the carpet?
Scooting.
It was doing that.
Scooting,
It was doing that, and it was really pissing me off. So I've got up to kick the dog and not realise I was heading straight for a wall. So there you go. So
you know what?
I lost the win there.
I remember those days when you used to race in your friend's house, but I've never heard that story. That was more entertaining than I was anticipating.
From being in the lead of the race and crashing under safety cars and not the way to do it. But no, I do like it around here. You just got to keep out the walls. 9 times out of 10, it does provide great racing. Sometimes it can be shocking. I can't remember what league it was, if it was here or another league, where we started with 20 drivers and ended up with 5 at the end.
That might have been JACKOCAR.
It happens.
Oh, yes.
But speaking of, we had 13 finishers last season around here.
That's not too bad. That's more than half.
No.
18 drivers start tonight's race. I was going to say, you mentioned about keeping it out of the walls. The season I won here in the Kia series, I very nearly ended up in the wall, but not through my own doing. It was known cheater Evil Dragon 69 who did not want me to overtake him on the outside, so he gave me a little nudge there. Of course, what you don't do is do that to the league owner, because who's still here and who isn't is the question I will ask you. So then, stage points tonight are by the way, I've also won here in TGP, but that was through default because Parser got the win token on.
You also finished 10th in Cup last season.
All right, mate. I don't, because I was 10th.
10th's good for Cup, though.
You know what? It is actually. I'll take it. Stage points tonight come at the end of lap 12 and the important one, lap 17. So everyone can make their second mandatory stop from lap 18 onwards. And there are no jokers. So it's going to be, I believe, 26 laps and no safety cars. Am I right? Yeah, right.
Yes. We used all safety cars last season before lap 14, if I remember rightly. So, we'll see. Oh, yes, tyres. I need to get them up.
Because there's always somebody that says, put the tyres up. It's normally Matt Rosamond, but I think he might be working. So then, a rundown of your 18 Cup Series drivers tonight. Tony Kirkpatrick on pole, Arnaud de Grief, Corey Dalton, Ben Shaw, Catboy, Jordan Lane, Ben Harrop, who sits third in the championship, by the way, having a great season, Khalifa El Khalifa, Jake O'Sullivan, 4 championships between those two in 8th and 9th. Then you've got the reigning Kia Series champion, Sullivan Lewis, P10. Danny Quint, who has been to 4 Kia Championship C5s and won none of them. Waze Cuba, his mate. Yuri Hazelager, 2-time Kia Series champion. Mike Kelterborn, Michael OKK, the fastest man in all the team speed. Gareth Hall, 89 in P16. Leroy Hazelager is 17th. And Casper Klein, in his dreadful, dreadful start to the season, starts last in P18 here in Baku.
Yes, Tony had to back them up a bit because he shot ahead of the rest of the field, and we've still got people holding backing up.
Okay. In that case,
So,
I'll tell you all the previous winners of Azerbaijan in the Cup Series. Mike Kelterborn, Kyle Smith, Jamie Wright, and then we had a long gap where we didn't come here. And then we went back to it in... Whew, that was a long gap, wasn't it? I don't think we've been here. Oh no, we was here last season, weren't we?
yeah, I noticed that on Discord. It's not on Discord. It's season 5, I think it was then.
Season 5. Corey Dalton won in season 5. Oh, Casper Klein. There you go. So, I lost all the sound there. I do apologise. Tony Kirkpatrick and Arnaud de Grief will lead us away. We have no sound again. I'm very, very sorry, but the drivers are underway. We're going to go on board with Arnaud as he looks to go to the inside at turn 1. We're going to have to stay on board with him because the cameras are awful. Oh. And Tony is out of this race, and that's going to be a safety car early doors. VSC is given. That's going to be upgraded. Khalifa gets a penalty, and I can't believe we're still under VSC conditions.
Yeah, I'm very surprised with that VSC. Okay, yeah, that's so unlucky for him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't, there's nothing else to say about that really. Very unlucky.
Tony, who on his debut in China come all the way to JACKOCAR and finished P2, makes his second start on pole and then gets put in the wall by a teammate. Arnaud de Grief.
We briefly went green. We've got another yellow. Or is that just for slow moving traffic?
I believe they are going at racing speed at this point. So Arnaud leads the way then. Almost clips the inside wall there. We're going to go to Corey and Catboy. Ben Harrow's made a brilliant start, by the way. He's got past Ben Shaw. Jordan Lane in the middle of all of that. He's survived P6 sliding sideways. And Danny Quinn, and then a penalty for Khalifa, who's on the back of Mr. Quinn himself.
I think that penalty for Khalifa is 10 seconds.
It is indeed.
He was involved with the accident, or as the game is, he's tapped the stricken car of Tony and got a penalty for it.
Or he was next to, I think it was Jordan at the time, and just got given the penalty by the game simply for being next to him. Ben gets past Ben.
Swapping places, and I'll take the fastest lap at the minute.
Yeah, and Khalifa's actually dropped off the back of Quinn, who is chasing down Jordan, which has allowed Sullivan to get into this fight. Obviously, Khalifa will have to serve that penalty at his next or first pit stop.
He's going for a move into turn 2 here.
And yellow flags are out.
Left end plate damage.
So he does. So, there's a crash further back. Michael O'Keke's out of this race. And there he is, stricken in the wall of VSC again. And another obscure 10-second penalty. We were on board with Casper for that. Yeah, did he touch Gareth? I don't think he did.
I don't know. And I was just looking at Jake, why he's so far down. He has a front left puncher.
So, and again, it's only a VSC, so he's not even going to get the luxury of being able to catch back up to the pack. It does soften the blow somewhat that he can lose less time with front wing change and a new set of tyres. But this is not ideal for the man who has done probably around 2.5 hours practice. He says he enjoys the game.
Have we got full cost safety car?
We should do.
Was it? Yeah. I'm still getting VSC on mine, but the safety car on track map is out.
Oh, so it is. Okay. I thought you were on about your settings then, Mr. Baldwin, but because you had the luxury tonight that Barry set the lobby up for us. But no, there is a safety car on the track map.
Yeah. Visual glitch, it'll be fine.
But we must be wary that I think that may have used 2 safety car periods up in this one.
Yeah, you could be right, yeah.
Yeah, so we might have used 3 of the 5 already.
VSC, yeah.
Possibly. But we'll worry about that when we have to. We're certainly not going to get another safety car for at least 3 laps, as Arnaud brings the field round to meet Mr. Safety Car. Is it Aston Martin today? It is indeed the green Aston Martin. So yeah, it's been an energetic start, full of safety car periods, so not a lot to bring to you at the minute. And Jess, much like us, is wondering how the first incident with Tony in the wall was not a safety car, but Tony himself saying thanks for having him. My own team racing like that, like it's the last lap. So Tony, understandably unhappy.
Casper sensibly getting rid of his 10-second penalty because he was towards the rear of the field anyway. And we'll rejoin in P15.
So, an important update to bring you, non-JACKOCAR related. My friend has messaged me. I've posted a pic to my Instagram story. Do I look cute or nah? This is a friend of mine who was recently engaged to, so I have to be careful what I say. But yes, my good friend, not that you're watching this, you look lovely.
Right, so 2 down, 16 left. No more, please. We would like to get some racing done tonight.
And look at the big names at the back of the grid. You got Gareth, Casper, and Jake, all way down there. We're going to quickly look at pit stops. So a non-mandatory each for Casper and Jake. They will obviously know that, won't they, Casper? Mandatory stops will begin from this lap. That's assuming the safety car stays out, which it should do.
Yeah. They all dive in, or will just soft runners dive in. Position changes. The biggest gainer is Leroy, up 6. Quinn is up 4. And everyone else is just up a couple. Biggest loser will be Jake, down in P16. Dropped 7 places.
Let me get those details for everyone. There they are.
We do have pitters.
Corey, Ben, Quinn, Khalifa, Sullivan, Waze, Leroy. Oh, they're all going for it. This will bring Casper and Jake up the order. Actually, maybe not Jake, because he's a long way back. In fact, there he is. Way down. Casper now up 13 places. I wonder if Jake will pit here.
Gareth's got a stack. I was just watching to see if anyone had to stack, and Gareth's the only one that had to stack.
Let's go back.
For him.
Go back to Jake then. I wonder if he has a stack, or if he was far enough behind that he gets away with it. That's exactly what will happen.
Gareth's
there he
lost
is.
About 4 positions there.
Gareth was 14th anyway coming into the pits, was he not?
I thought he was a bit further up.
No, it was Gareth, Casper, Jake in the final 3 positions. Casper stayed out. So yeah, Gareth's only lost 1 place.
Yeah. Okay.
And by the way, if you didn't see, Jake did pit. So everybody from everyone from 6th down has pitted. Casper with that 1 stop, like I said, non-mandatory. He is saving his safety car stop for later in the race.
Alright, so so before the pit stops, I was just going to say Ben Shaw was running in P4. Casper was in P4 last season and won the race, so is Ben going to try and do the same? He'll have to get past Corey first, who is a feisty driver to pass.
He sure is, but after all his years here in JACKOCAR, Corey does now know the rules. And by the way, congratulations to Arnaud de Grief, who we missed it 2 laps ago, or 1 lap ago I should say, but he has now surpassed 600 laps led in JACKOCAR. That is more than any other driver. 88 drivers have competed in both tiers. Nobody has led as many laps as Arnaud. He's now on 602 this time by.
Oh, that's not a bad stat to have.
His nearest competitor is Khalifa, who is 96 laps behind him. So, yeah.
Okay. It's a stat, unfortunately, is not going to get beaten with it being the last season.
No, I don't think so. So, we are merely now just waiting for this race to get going. It's been a bit of a slow start, but the if history tells us anything, the JACKOCAR races that start slow often finish fast. And Baku, we know full well it produces drama. It's one of the better tracks for it.
Yeah. And Jess will agree with me on this. This is exactly how it was last season. It was just a drag up until about lap 14, 15. And then it was just a great race to the end.
There you go. So if you viewers who are with us, if you can stay with us to lap 14, Barry and Jess are guaranteeing us entertainment. Can I say that? I just have.
Yes.
So everybody on mediums, apart from Catboy, who's on the softs. Then you've got the three hard runners of Mike, Yori, and Jake, who, shockingly enough, is still last, but he has been in positions like this before and won. So obviously don't rule him out.
Yeah. It'd be interesting to see how the hards are around here. I wouldn't think they'd be that much of a good tyre, but who am I to judge? I'm a pad driver, so...
I don't think any of us expected the hards to be that good in Bahrain, did we, on Tuesday? But they were.
Oh, they were great.
They're really good. I think it was the same tyre as what's normally the soft at most tracks, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So it felt really good. So we anticipate safety car, there you go, to be in this lap. And there it is. Arnaud becomes the, in effect, leader of this race. There are, of course, restart zones that must be obeyed to. If there's anyone who's going to get them wrong, Arnaud knows a thing or two about doing that. Portugal Season 4 springs to mind. Seems to be a little bit faster restart than normal, but this is perfectly fine. The drivers will line up single file behind him. Arnaud, Catboy, Ben, Harrett, your top three. And I believe it's from that first overhead Qatar Airways sponsor hoarding that you can see. He can go any time from there. I may be wrong, but we'll ride on board with Arnaud and we'll see what he does. He's going to hold for the minute. Yeah, and that's very sensible. He goes now and catches Kieran out, so P1 should be safe for at least a lap then for Arnaud, and then we will get the DRS. They're too wide, further behind, by the way. Are there any incidents? I think they all just about got away with it, Barry Baldwin.
Oh, no. Contacts, Corey and Risky. Ben Shaw caught Corey napping, tried to go down the inside, had to brake, and then Risky swung around the outside of the pair of them, and then there was a bit of contact.
Mike Kelterborn. Safety car. So that is for front wing debris.
Yes.
It is a slow start, isn't it? I think we might actually be getting a repeat of last season.
Why are we getting a full course safety car for debris and we had a crash into turn 1 at the start and we got a VSC?
I know.
And a lovely game.
I'll tell you what my thinking would be, as with my driver's head on. If I'm Arnaud, Ben, Catboy, Jordan and Casper, I'm coming in this time. I know it throws away the lead, but the speed we're running out of safety cars, you're going to lose the advantage of your safety car stop, so it makes sense to utilise it.
Exactly. And this could technically, like you said...
Oh, Mike in the wall!
Fourth. Oh.
That looked rather intentional to me. And he would have thought...
section.
Yeah, he would have thought that we weren't watching, but we were. In fact, I've got JACKOCAR live here. He sped up. He just drove straight into it. It looks intentional.
And a quick leave of the session as well. Makes it even more... Tut-tut.
It's not what you want to see. So we're down to 15 then.
Yes.
And this...
so this could technically be our fourth safety car slot, so we might only get one more. So, for those viewers watching, stick around because it might be earlier than lap 14.
Catboy and Sullivan in the pits. Catboy making that first mandatory. Khalifa's back in. A handful of these are non-mandatory. There's your green Aston Martin once again. But touching on that that DNF from Mr. Kelterborn there, it's a logic that I'm still yet to understand after 12 years of league racing, you've got the safety car is out. Okay, you've made a mistake. You're at the back of the grid. You got no front wing. Safety car's out. Surely you pit and just join the back of the queue. I don't know why you throw it away like that.
Yeah, especially in JACKOCAR, because you just have to finish and it's a point, and that point could mean something towards the end.
You know all about that as well. Remember season 1 or 2, was it? You were knocked out of the...
Don't remind me. I think it was season 1 and season 3. I was knocked out by a point.
That's heartbreak.
Yeah.
And you know
what?
Austria?
No, it was Jamie. Splinter.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, it was him that knocked me out both times. Would
was
you
it?
believe? Yeah. Yeah.
I was going to say, sometimes even a point is too much of a gap. We've had many of an occasion where things have gone back to count back, or most wins, most second places, most thirds. I'll never forget the first time I went to the Championship 5, and I did that. I reported you for doing something wrong in Brazil, and it put me level on points with Jess and Matt Lester.
Yeah.
And Matt Lester, by the way, who'd been held up by Yori, who was not a part of the fight at all in that race. I had the most third places, I think it went back to.
Yeah.
And I got into the Championship 5, only to finish third overall. But, you know, it's amazing how little or how much a point can mean here and there.
I mean, we all have our bad races, and it gets to us, and it's frustrating, but you just got to keep going. Never give up, because you never know what's going to happen.
I don't know if you saw... Go on, sorry.
And a prime example, again, is going off my first ever win in online racing.
Yeah.
Bahrain, 2019. I was last. I got taken out on the start of the race, in the wall, no front wing, and I went on to win it.
Yep.
And our good little friend Owen was on comms that day as well.
I'll never forget Bazza. I was most annoyed because on the safety car restart, I was the car in front of you.
Yes.
And I got Jess, for whatever reason, checked up. Yeah. I hit her, went into the back of her, lost the front wing, and then ultimately, I'd like to say, lost a race win, but you know,
because
I won't take it away from you.
Race as well. You took the lead of that race at the start as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's.
But there you go.
The memory box that.
And Bahrain on Tuesday, I don't know if you saw much of me at all, but I was languishing down in 18th for the entire race.
Yeah, it was just when Gareth picked up in it when I watched the stream back. But no, I didn't see much of you.
No, you wouldn't have done. But the fact is, I had that bad start and then stuck at it, which is bringing us back to the point what you said just now. Stuck at it and got a safety car and managed to wangle my way to P7, which on a bad day you'd absolutely take in JACKOCAR. So
I was extremely pleased with P6.
So you should be. Oh, that's a good result, especially with the caliber of drivers down in Kia now.
Yeah, I was slightly annoyed with the game. The game gave M-Shep driver day. Not that it matters, but yeah. We'll move on.
Just reading the chat, Jess is saying to us, if Mike did this in Kia, he would be deducted playoff points. Don't worry, Jamie Griffiths did it last week in Cup and was deducted playoff points, so we will try and understand the footage later on. What else has Jess said? Jess said she's got many things decided by countback. Yeah, I feel that. And as ever, keep going. You never know when you're going to be rewarded. Jess saying about as well. So she's basically spammed the chat. Her first win in Australia. She was at the back for the entire race until it dried up. And then, of course, eventually won it. Not to mention, Jess, that was the same race that I was leading with 3 laps to go and spun out from the lead. But we won't talk about that. Congratulations on your Kia Series win.
We might as well have Jess in the pit lane.
Yeah.
The headset on, be a tech
Yeah.
rabbits. Right, so Yuri's just made another stop.
Oh yeah, I must
Set of
admit,
mediums.
I've not been paying any attention to what's happening on the track. But there's your stops, everyone. 5 stops for Jake O'Sullivan. If you can work that one out, well done. Arnold's getting very close to the back of the safety car as well. Everyone on mediums.
He's done it a few times, that.
Yeah. Maybe he's doing the Lewis Hamilton. Come on, he's going too slow. It is a bit slow, I must admit.
Yeah. Right. So top 4 still yet to make 2 mandatory pit stops. Is it going to kick them for not doing it under a safety car? Because we've only got possibly 1 more to go.
Well, they won't be. Oh, you mean like come back to kick them? Sorry. Yeah. That's why I think they should have done it by now. Everybody else has. So I would say your race leader is this man, Corey Dalton, in P5.
Yeah,
I'd
agree.
Unless there's another safety car and they pit under it, they are out of this race in terms of for the race win. Let me just update the laps led. It's nice and easy to keep track of today. Arnold, 9 laps.
There you go.
I did fear having to do lead commentary that I wouldn't be able to keep track of it and I would have to have watched the race back, but at this rate I'm going to save myself about 30 minutes, which is fantastic news. But anyway, action returns to the green flag status of Azerbaijan, or it will do in a few seconds' time. Arnold, for the second time this evening, will lead the field into the restart zone, which I'm 100% it's Qatar Airways holding right here. Let's assume it is. He can go anytime from now up to the start line. And he's got Ben sat right behind him, ready to go. And away goes Arnold. And he once again catches out the car behind him. Ben Harrett will have a look, but no more than a look. Into turn 1 they go. Let's look further back. Is there any contact?
Waze has made a couple of positions there.
Yes, he has. Danny Quinn safely through in P9. Corey back up to P5. Undoing the good work that Waze did, and everyone fighting through turn 2 now at the back of the grid. Jake is there on the back of Yuri, but we must go to the front because Ben Harrett has closed the gap to Arnold de Grief. Of course, top 4 yet to pit. Jake now ahead of Yuri at the tail of the field. Ben Shaw, by the way, losing out to Waze Cuba, which is not ideal. Ben traditionally never gone well here.
Yeah, he got caught napping a bit on the restart and got passed by Leroy first, and Waze just dived down the inside of both of them into turn 1 and has made the move work. But Ben is got the tyres back up to temp and is right back on the gearbox of Waze now.
Here he is on board with the 29 car. Ben Shaw. Waze runs wide, and Ben has to back out of that one before it became more than just a little bit of contact. It will have lit Leroy's eyes up. And Ben Shaw will have nowhere to go because you're not going to go around the outside of there, my son. We have seen it tried, Ben. You may remember a chap called Marine Houghton sent it into the wall there. Riley Bye is also famous for doing outside moves at a corner where it shouldn't be done. But Ben Shaw now sets his sights and will refocus on the back of Waze, who is very much starting to lose ground to the cars in front.
Nice move from Casper.
Oh. He is doing lovely.
Move on Jordan in the little kink. Oh, he's boxed anyway. That was okay.
I can make sense of it.
Yeah.
But I also can't. You're relying very much on another safety car at this point. Arnold has gapped Ben Harrett by over a second. So out of the DRS zone he is.
Yes. So Corey catching up to Ben now. He's got a nice gap to Waze to 2.7 seconds as Ben now retakes P4.
Yep.
He just about slowed down.
Waze is going to have a look here.
He's got to keep an eye out for Leroy as well.
We're on board with Leroy. They both look to the inside of Ben Shaw, but they've got to play it sensibly here. And that's exactly what they do for the time being. It's not quite job done for Ben Shaw, though. He still needs to break away to get out of that DRS zone because Waze and Leroy looking very, very racy as we head down towards the castle section here. And Ben has actually got away from him. Waze, if anything, is now holding Leroy up. He's really struggling on those medium tyres. Carbon copy, a last lap where Ben was behind Waze. Leroy having to back out of it. And Ben Short breaks free. Danny Quinn will be interested in this, and he's bringing Gareth behind with him. Catboy, who has now made his stop, runs in P9. Khalifa completes the top 10. Front wing end plate goes missing for, I believe that might have been Danny Quinn. Correct me if I'm wrong, Barry. I did miss it.
I've moved off it, unfortunately, because Corey is about to take P2 off Ben.
Oh, put into the outside wall, but it won't phase him. Corey up into P2. Arnout continues to lead the way, but your net race leader, as we called it,
also stays out.
Yeah, net race leader is getting closer to P1. 2.6 the gap now. Leroy did manage to get past Waze. Look at this behind. There's a man out the race. It's Ben Shaw. He's gone. And there's your safety car.
Oh, saving grace for Arnold now. And Ben Harrett.
Ben Harrett, yeah.
Both boxed.
And
Arnold was still surprisingly setting the fastest lap on 11 old mediums. So he's got pace in that car today.
If he... Oh, I think the start-finish line is just too far away from where the speed limiter comes into play into the pit lane. If he was to pit this lap, if Corey was a bit further behind, he could pit, get his tyres, and also win the stage, which is, of course...
Yes, it's, first stage is the end of this lap, yeah.
I mean, if he wanted to go all out for the stage, then he absolutely could. Of course, Arnoud, if you wanted to win a stage, he is your man. Nobody has more than him, 34 all-time in the Cup Series. What will he do? I would say pitting is probably number one priority for a man who isn't already in the playoffs. But I don't think that 2.6 second gap will be enough to fend off Corey from stealing the stage from him. Corey, by the way, who has won 14 of them in his career.
Yeah, and I think after missing a few races, I think Corey's here to win tonight.
Oh, yes. Corey with 10 wins all time, which was equalled last week by Catboy. We're focusing on Arnoud, though. What will he do? He's starting to veer to the left. Corey has backed off. He's gained another second as Arnoud. That's very fast into the pit lane. Who is going to take it? Oh, that's tight.
Oh,
that is tight. Straight to JACKOCAR then.
Yes. I think Corey might have just snatched it. But that was very tight.
We are checking.
Right, so everyone has now made their first mandatory stop, so no one can make a second one now until the end of lap 18.
And confirmation, Arnoud de Grief won stage 1 now.
Oof, nicely done. Front wing change for Risky at the back of the field. Ben has made his stop and has gone soft, so he's going to go for a quick stint to the end of lap 18. And with no more safety cars, he is going to start moving through the pack.
Yes, sorry, don't mind me, Bazzer. I'm just distracted again by the chat. Jess is asking for a Jacko and Bazzer podcast right now, aka JACKOCast.
Soon to return, I hear.
Yeah, be patient. There are big old plans for 2025, let me tell you. A lot of people seem to think the Cup Series is ending. It doesn't mean JACKOCAR is. That's what I'll tell you.
So Arnold from the lead has gone down to P9. He's behind Jake. After Jake making, let me check, he's made 5 pit stops. And he's now ahead of Arnold.
Yes, but we believe, we only believe, it's not necessarily true, but we believe there are no more safety car periods to be had.
Yes. So I think Waze, and Waze in particular, will be quite happy with that in P3.
Yeah. If we have any, we have one to go, yes. But I don't think we do. I think the second one was an upgraded VSC.
Yeah, I'd agree to that.
So yeah,
Gareth, I think, will be quite happy. P4 and 5 at the minute.
Let's have a look at there's your stopping situation. Everyone has made a mandatory. There's your position changes. Leroy having a good race. Obviously, so is Waze. As pointed out by my co-commentator. No penalties. And there's the tyres.
Yeah, right, let's see if I can just run through the car, see if there's any wings missing. I shouldn't think there would be any end plates missing. Oh yes, Waze.
Oh, it's Waze, okay.
Left end side.
Oh, I tell you what, sorry to interrupt, but Leroy, warming his tyres up, has just glanced the wall and got away with it. I mean, it was, I think he got away with it because it was square on the wall. It's the same as my crash at Spa the other week.
It might get tyre damage, but that's about it, possibly.
Yeah, he really got away with that. And a message in from Ben Shaw. The first one is, not my game, son. The second one is, I'm 2 months behind, referring to how late he got the game. And his results do show that. If I talk you through Ben Shaw's season, he had 3 races where he didn't attend. Then he had a 15th place finish at the Speedway. He did lead a lap with 3 to go, but he then, I think he got spun out or something silly like that. And then he had a P9 finish last week in Silverstone, so which is not his track. And as I said about 5 laps ago, Baku this week is not his track. But things can only get better for Ben Shaw as we head to Belgium, Monaco, Imola, and of course Portugal, the next 4 races. The King of Portugal returns to Portimao, where he'll be looking to finally catch up and get himself another race win there. Safety car in this lap, perhaps for the final time. We shall see. It's lap 14. This is the lap that you said it got good from last time. So if you are watching, everybody, do strap in, because it's going to get feisty, especially with Waze and Gareth only 2 cars apart, and Quinn thrown in for good measure. It's set up beautifully.
And now Corey is at the front, clear air. We'll see how his true pace is, and can he clear off from the back.
Let's go on board.
Waze will be one to watch on this restart with damaged front wing.
Yeah, so remember folks, if we forget to say it in the next few laps, I'll say it now so we have said it. The end of stage 2 is at lap 17. Lap 18 is when they can make their second mandatory stops, but I expect this to be hectic. Corey Dalton leads the way in Baku. For the third time tonight, we're underway then, and he gets away from Leroy. That's a good start. Let's go further back. Can Gareth or Quinn?
Nicely.
Yep, and there's no carnage as yet. Waze and Gareth and Quinn and Leroy and Corey, they all get through. Khalifa P7, Catboy sits P6. Oh, and there's a lock-up from somebody. I didn't see it, Bazza. But I think they're all...
I didn't see the lock-up, but... Oh, who's that weaving on the straight?
It's Catboy, yeah. And here is Jake down the inside of Khalifa. He spins Catboy, and they're in the wall there. And that all started from Jake, who put Catboy into the wall. He takes Khalifa with him, and Jake is the beneficiary of it. Is there carnage further back?
No.
Risky still in this race.
Jesus.
Catboy.
How has Khalifa still got his front wing?
Catboy facing the wrong way. Oh, this is unbelievable scenes in Baku. Well, Barry Baldwin told you 10 laps ago, things will get spicy on lap 14. It took until lap 15.
Khalifa's front wing is fully intact. I don't know how it is after he got battered into the wall by Catboy and he's come away with a puncture.
I have to say,
safety cars. That's unfortunate for him.
Well, that confirms what we needed to know. Catboy says sorry to Khalifa. I'm inclined to say that is not Catboy's fault. That was all Jake's doing in turn 3. Jake, by the way, P6. Corey hasn't broken away. Leroy staying with him. And Waze and Quinn staying with him. And tell you what, Gareth on the back of Quinn. This could be tasty for P4. Gareth to the left. And up into 4th he goes. Quinn drops away. DRS is enabled. And there's Arnaud and Jake I think Jake might have a penalty coming with him. Maybe it's a racing incident. We'll have to watch it back. But he did tag Catboy into turn 3.
Yeah, I was on board with Catboy and I saw he got tagged from behind. I wasn't sure who it was. As now Arnold moves up to P5. Quinn's dropping down.
Khalifa really struggling on that tyre. He will be lapped. Champion last season. He may well be champion this season, but this is not the sights you want to see.
Gareth all over the back of Waze now. He wants that podium.
This will be tasty. Takes a lot of curb, does Gareth. What will they do into the castle section? Gareth is one who you'd like to think would use his head, but it is Waze in front of him, so anything can happen.
Arnold's looking
Arnold is looking. I don't know who to go on board with. We'll look from Arnold's perspective then as we come and complete sector 2 of lap 16. Arnold breaks early because he can smell fire and it's starting to burn. Gareth is just waiting for the right opportunity to get past Waze, but he knows Arnold is there as well. Quinn has really dropped back. In fact, he's got Jake for company. But back to this battle then for what is for a podium in Baku. We're going to go on board with Gareth Hall. He moves to the right of Waze Cuba. Arnold's coming with him, but he doesn't have enough straight line speed. Arnold's going to get the two of them. They're 3 wide to the line. Who's going to come out on top here? Arnold and Gareth have got past Waze, but Gareth has the inside. And Arnold, can he hold it? Yes, he can. Up into P3 goes Arnold de Grief of Belgium. And Gareth will be so bitterly disappointed. He got past his arch nemesis, but the Belgian fraud has found his way back to a position where he may well be able to win this race still.
What a move that was.
Oh, as he almost tags the wall.
Burning the RS as well.
Brilliant racing.
Back out of the pits and is lapped down.
As expected,
everyone
then.
Apart from Risky and Catboy.
Yeah. The yellow flags fly for
Risky.
Sullivan. It's gone off again there, that turn 3 where all the drama happened. And
he's got no front wing.
You are correct. There's Catboy, who does have a front wing, clips the curb as well, and Khalifa back up and running.
Is now on the back of Leroy. Arnold is flying.
He sure is. Arnold, by the way, who we're speaking about, race wins. He sits on 12, and Quinn is out of this race. What's happened here for the Watford fan? Is it in the castle section?
No, it's
it's not.
The Little King.
I opted to go on board with Sullivan, who's miles away. Who moves to the left.
Pushing Leroy around the corners.
We're going to have to move away from Quinn's damage.
And he's already ahead. Before DRS. Into P2.
There you go. Easy, easy, easy for Arnold de Grief, and sets the fastest lap. The man who put his teammate in the wall on lap 1 now is one teammate away from being back in charge of this race. And guess what? It's lap 18. So Corey Dalton wins stage 2, but Arnold de Grief is the man on the move as he closes that gap to below 3 seconds now. Jake gets past Waze further back, and Casper, who's having a very subpar race from the back of the grid, P7, but he is in the mix. Of course, there are no safety cars left.
So, I assume when the pit stops start happening now, Casper might move up to P6 if Waze changes his front wing, which I think he should, because he is dropping down now.
There's Ben Harrott, who was behind Arnold de Grief in the first half of this race. He's stuck behind Yuri Hazelager.
Just looking at the tyres as well. I assume Arnold's going to go on to a set of softs, because his mediums he's got on are only 5 laps old and Corey's are 14.
Don't mind me just catching up with all the laps led, so I don't have to watch it back. Yes, that's why Arnold's so much faster. He's found nearly a second on this lap. If Arnaud wins, he would draw level with Ben Shaw for most wins all time. They'd be on 13 each.
Arnaud stays out.
As
going
expected.
for the overcut. Never said it's the fastest lap.
I think Arnaud led that lap as well. I will let you concentrate on Corey's pit stop.
Gareth stays out. There's quite a few of them staying out. Oh, side-by-side action between Jordan and Yuri. Jordan stays ahead, inside line into turn 2. But Yuri will now have the DRS going up to turn 3. I think he's a tad too far back because Jordan burns DRS, and down the inside goes Yuri. They give each other room, and Jordan stays ahead.
Did Yuri, I was on the off-board camera, did he look like he backed out of that one at the very last second?
Yeah, I think he did, yeah. There's
Sensible.
a switch. Oh, that's Khalifa getting out the way of Corey.
And
so Corey pits and comes out on mediums. Leroy comes out on softs.
Interesting. I'd like to think the softs would make it to the end here. There is Leroy running P9, Corey P8 on the mediums. You'd probably just about back Corey. Oh, that's Leroy who had a moment there. Was it Leroy? Sorry, Khalifa.
Oh,
Khalifa, who went straight on. He's not having a good day, is he? P13, unlucky for some, as they say. Sullivan Lewis pits. Arnaud de Grief is leading. You'll like this, everybody. Is leading from Gareth Hall, who once again finds himself in a position where he can lead a lap, which he absolutely will. In comes Arnaud. We are going to ride on
that extra
board.
lap done the trick to do the overcut on Corey.
Arnaud leads lap 19. We're going to go on board with Corey.
Gareth stays out, Way stays out, and Casper.
Corey then. You can see Arnaud at the bottom of your picture.
Yeah.
Corey's clear. It's job done.
Yeah.
It's going to have to be done on track then if Arnaud wants to win this race. And I was going to tell you as well, Corey Dalton, he sits on 10 races. 10 race wins, that is.
Yep. And it's 2 soft runners chasing down Corey for this victory. Leroy is 5.5 seconds off Arnaud, so it's technically the 2 ERT boys for the victory.
But if it gets spicy, Bazza, we will be there to watch the action, and Leroy will be there to pick up the pieces. Here's Ben Harrett on Catboy, looking at the outside of turn 3. Breaks early and almost makes contact. This is the battle for P10, by the way. And he is all over Catboy, who gets turned into turn 4 by the man behind him. Ben Harrett really wants to get past. He's got a near on 5-second deficit to make up to the car in front of Catboy. And that is Yuri Hazelager, who's broken free. And what else is happening? Jake and Leroy, they're the next closest on track. Jake, of course, had the first 13 laps of this race sat at the back of the grid. Gareth Hall, by the way, is going to lead 3 races in a row if he stays out.
Yep.
And you know damn well he's going to stay out then. Lap 20.
He is going to stay out.
He belongs to the Queen of Portimao, Gareth Hall. 3 races in a row that he has led. I think the record that he set himself last season or season before was 4. So record still intact. Corey and Arnaud getting past Waze, who pits. Does Waze change his front wing, I wonder?
I don't think he is.
I don't think he is. It's just tyres. And away he goes. To be fair, he's been doing all right without the M plate.
Yeah.
But yeah, the gap. Look at this. We've missed it. 1 second.
Yeah.
It's coming.
Leroy's under attack from Jake. And that's Jake up to P5.
Oh, no, Leroy goes straight on.
You don't want to give that up.
Jesus.
And it's Ben and Catboy again. And Ben's through this time on his fresher tyres.
It looked easy. I missed it, but it looked easy. But the attention, I'm afraid, is going to have to go to Arnaud and Corey. This is for the race win. And they're absolutely throwing it around the streets of Baku. It's turning into a JACKOCAR Classic then. We're inside 5 to go. Corey Dalton and Arnaud de Grief for the race win. Casper and Gareth, they need to pit. But here comes Arnaud. He's just waiting for the right moment. A small lockup. He'll get away with it. And he's well inside a second. It looks like it's going to be done quite quickly, you know. But it all depends on whether Corey can stay with him once the move is complete. It's England versus Belgium. We've been here before. And normally Belgium comes out on top. Arnaud de Grief lines up Corey Dalton, who actually has the ERS on. You can see him pulling away and weaving left to right. DRS now for Arnaud. And I think Corey has done a bloody good job there to defend this time by. A fastest lap again from Arnaud de Grief. Gareth Hall pits. Casper leads the lap last time around. It's all starting to come to a close here. Lap 22, turn 2. Arnaud chasing Corey Dalton.
Yeah, fastest laps are flying in now. Jordan's just taken the fastest lap. Arnold didn't use any ERS on that back straight. He was just using his DRS. He has got 83%. I think he's going for a last lap charge, possibly by the looks of it. We shall see.
Yeah,
that's another purple sector for him.
Let's go on board and look back from Corey's point of view. Arnaud is going to the inside. Who expected it there, anyone? Arnaud up into what is a net P1 in the wall! And Arnaud and Corey have ruined it for each other. Here comes Jake O'Sullivan. And this, this is unbelievable. Penalty for Arnaud. He's ruined it. But is Corey's car in any shape to continue? Because this has opened the door for Jake O'Sullivan and Leroy. We said he might be there to pick up the pieces. It could still happen for him. Corey has damage.
Left end plate.
We've
got left end plate. This is for the win now. Oh, boys, what were you doing? Why did he go for a move there?
So silly from Arnaud de Grief.
He had so much grip on the exit and just decided to go for it. He had plenty of time to get him.
Casper leads another lap. Here goes Corey. This could end bad. Or will they keep their heads chopping and changing down the main straight? You know what? Corey might just well continue. He's going to go for this, and maybe Arnaud might play as a rear gunner for him. But Leroy's looking at 2 podiums in a row here.
Sensibly now, they need to work as ERT teammates and pull each other along, because Jake will get them both.
Oh, look at this, man. They're not working together.
No.
I don't think they are.
Tears.
Let's go on board with Jake. And watch this gap, by the way. Leroy 2.5 behind. Watch this gap. This could be massive for this season's playoffs.
I don't know who's going to win this.
I don't.
Corey's not got a lot of ERS to fight with. Arnold's not even used his. Jake is at 60.
I'll tell you what. Jake's been here before as well. He's chased down drivers from other teams. Now, remember, kids, there are no teams in JACKOCAR, but this lot seem to think there are. Your friends are where you find them. And Jake O'Sullivan will know the reputation that Arnaud and Corey hold within themselves. There is a lot of history between these 3 drivers. Arnaud's out of it. That 10 seconds has totally ruined his race. But Jake, Corey, and Leroy has just dropped back.
Yeah,
they are all still in with a shout. Yeah, even Jordan could be in this. You know, good shout, Barry Baldwin there.
Look who Gareth's got for company now as well.
Not quite as close as the battle ahead, but we'll keep our eye on it as we are now inside 2 to go. Jordan to the inside or outside of Leroy Hazelhager. Could Jordan win this race? Don't do it to me. Don't do it to me. The man who won last season's Speedway. A lock-up, by the way, from Jake into turn 1. Arnaud sitting behind Corey, but not just sitting there. Almost pushing him round turn 2. This is getting very exciting.
Jordan's only won one race?
Just the one. Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Again, Waze and Gareth switching places there. This is getting a bit feisty between these two now. There's Gareth. Oh, Waze! Tries to sneak back down the inside, doesn't pay off.
Where do we watch the wing damage of Waze? Oh, Gareth nearly in the wall, and Waze is trying to sneak his way into what is P7. He's up alongside him, and through goes the Welshman. Gareth Hall will be fuming inside the cockpit of that yellow and green machine. This is unbelievable stuff. England versus Wales. More yellow flags fly. We're going to go back to the leaders, though. Jake, Arnold and Corey. Barry, let me know if I need to go back to Gareth and Waze.
I'm back on with Corey. Arnold's pushing him around the corners.
He sure is. Casper's the gap.
Corey's on the wrong tyres. He's on the slower tyres, but he's still staying ahead of them both. He's using his ERS in the right places to stay ahead.
Yeah,
Casper, for some reason, is still leading.
I'd like to think he pits this time. He will lead another lap.
Does indeed.
So he won't be disqualified this week. And there it is, another lap led. But yes, Corey defending beautifully. Jake, I don't know if he's just waiting, but he's not where he needs to be if he wants to make a move. We're going to go back to Waze and Gareth. Surely, you'd like to think Gareth is going to make a move into turn one because the gap is closing and closing and closing. Does he go inside or out? He's teasing Waze. He brakes later. He goes to the right and holds around the outside of turn one. There's contact and Gareth and Waze are fighting all the way down to turn two. And Gareth, can he hold on? No, he can't because Waze is still there. And this is truly fascinating driving in JACKOCAR. Can Gareth do anything? He switches back to the inside and Waze somehow still holds on to P7. They get it turned in and Waze miraculously holds on to P7. Up the inside goes Gareth Hall. He's repeating what Waze did and they're in the wall and out they go. I think there might be a report coming Gareth Hall's way. Yuri sneaks into P7. That was unbelievable. It was JACKOCAR at his absolute finest and I am not mad about that in the slightest. Barry Baldwin, unbelievable.
Fantastic racing, fantastic. Two arch rivals going at it. It was brilliant.
And it's what you love to see.
Just threw a Dutchie in the background and Yuri takes them both.
The Dutch reign supreme then in the battle for P7. But we're getting very, very close.
It's settled down a bit at the front.
Yep, but let me remind you, last season the race here was won by 0.003 and it was Jake who come out P2. Can he find anything on this final lap? Because guess what? It's one to go in Baku. Not sponsored by Credit One Bank. Corey Dalton chasing what would be his 11th Cup Series win. He's got Arnold playing rear gunner there with a 10-second penalty. They threw it away about 4 laps ago. It should have been an Arnold win. It was looking so good for him, but he made a silly error, and now he looks as though he is finally playing the team role here for Corey Dalton. Jake O'Sullivan is looking for an answer to these two. He has won 2 races this season. Can he go and sneak a 3rd win in? That would be fantastic in the opening 6 races. Don't forget, Jake has won 15 Cup Series races, so he certainly knows how to get it done around here. Corey Dalton coming up to the point where Arnold tried to sneak up the inside of him 4 laps ago and it fell apart for him. Through into the castle section for the last time. The yellow flags fly for the lapped cars of Khalifa. And I think Sullivan might still be on the lead lap, but only just about. And here they go then. This is where Jess and Yuri had that moment all those years ago. No drama this time around. It's lap 26 of the Cup Series here in Baku. Azerbaijan has delivered once again. Does Jake O'Sullivan have enough left in the tank to have a shot at winning this race on the final straight? It's all going to come down to this final straight. We stayed on board Jake for the whole lap. What will Arnold do as Corey starts to streak away? He might have done enough. Arnold will defend for his teammate left and right. That's perfectly legal. Jake's not going to get a chance. Corey's already celebrating. Jake will get P2 on track, but Corey Dalton is going to win in JACKOCAR in Season 10. He's done it again. Fantastic race. You absolutely love to see it. That is one of the best JACKOCAR races we've ever seen, and I am more than happy with what we've witnessed here this evening. Ooh. Barry Baldwin, give us your point of view on that, son.
Oh, brilliant, just brilliant. It was fantastic yet again. Baku has delivered yet again. And I just got on board with it further down the field. It was nearly side by side with Casper beat Leroy to the line just by a 10th and takes P4 from the back of the grid. I think he will be quite pleased with that. Jordan, superb P3 podium.
Yeah, you know what? That all of that went unnoticed. Jordan P3, fantastic stuff. Arnaud with his penalty drops to P6, which you know what? It's not the race win, but considering he had a 10-second penalty, he recovered it well. I imagine Corey will have absolutely no issue now that the result has been won, and even the defending on Jake at the end there wasn't overly questionable. I don't think Jake will have any issues with P2. The man who will have some issue is Wade's Cuba down at P9. I'm going to stick my head on the line here and say that they gave as good as each other. The ultimate contact at the end was caused by Gareth, who put Waze into the wall, and then the other one as well where Jake tagged Kieran, and that put Kieran and Khalifa in the wall. But my goodness me, what a race that was. We had some fun here tonight. The screen goes black, so I can't take pictures of the results. It doesn't matter. We'll have to watch this. Barry will give you a rundown of the order.
Right, so there we go. Corey, fantastic, takes the victory. And Jake in P2, I think will be reasonably happy coming from P9. And Jordan, fantastic job getting the last spot on the podium. Casper, absolutely brilliant from the back of the grid, takes P4, as does Leroy in 5th. Arnaud, another day, but still decent points in P6. Yuri, P7. Gareth, halfway up the grid into P8, not bad after his shenanigans with Waze, and Waze likely with Gareth takes P9. Ben rounds out the top 10, and then it's Catboy in 11th, Risky 12th, and Khalifa is the last of the runners in 13, which we had 13 finishers last season. And your non-finishers, Quinn, Ben Shaw, MK Bourne, OKK, and very disappointing Tony to see how his pace would have been. Taking pole position was the first retirement of the day.
Yeah. So there you go. We can all take a break and sit down after that one. That got me going. I enjoyed that very, very much. Like you say, disappointing to not see what Tony was capable of on a track he really enjoys there. But even without him present beyond the first corner of lap 1, we certainly had some fun. You were right, Barry. It livened up from lap 14 onwards, and
Yes.
JACKOCAR and Baku has delivered once again. Any final words before we move on to what will be next week?
Yeah, again, Baku delivered for the last time in JACKOCAR, but stay tuned for next week, because Belgium is also can be a cracking race, especially if the weather springs into mind as well.
Yeah, well, there you go. Remember, kids, your friends are where you find them. Even if they try and take you out, they're still your friends. Have a good evening.